Hi, I'm Morrison. I'm the head of sport at Redfield. I'm also the head of co-curricular and I coach the first 15 rugby team. We're pretty lucky here being a small school. We have a big and a small rugby field, so a junior field and a full-size rugby field. We have the same for football, full-size football field and a slightly smaller. We have another field that primary can use as well. We have 2 basketball courts in our Cola. We do have dual swimming centres literally minutes down the road. We have available things like table tennis. We can put tennis nets up on our basketball courts, turn them into tennis courts. We've got the line marking for both. Very fortunate because small school, but we have beautiful grounds, absolutely spectacular. If you turn up here before school recess or lunch, there are kids shooting hoops on all 4 hoops in the basketball courts. There'll be boys playing tip footy up on the oval. There'll be a cricket game going on the pavers over there. There'll be handball, all of that sort of stuff, because we sort of believe in the old adage of, keep the boys busy and keep them happy. We managed to get students to a very high level. We've had boys play for Australian schoolboys rugby teams. We have a Year 12 boy from last year who was a cricketer who's just signed up for the New South Wales cricket team as the new rookie in the New South Wales team. We managed to pack a lot of sport in, and we really encourage every boy to participate. We'd like every single boy to be playing a team sport, and this really enables us to offer a decent sport experience for all kids. We at Redfield recognise the value of sport. I mean, the old adage of healthy body, healthy mind, it's been around forever. If you've got some sort of physical release, if you can offset your tough study times with go out and shoot some hoops, go and have your game of soccer, rugby on the weekend, go for a game of cricket, all of those things really help boys to manage their stress better. Physical release like that actually reduces stress and anxiety considerably. And I know I've talked to many boys who've gone, I spent 4 hours studying, I'm feeling totally wound up. Go out, play the soccer game, play the rugby game, come home, you just feel a whole lot better, and then you're actually better prepared to get into the next load of study. Team sports are a big part of character formation. There's all sorts of things that boys will get from being in a team sport. One of the main things in the early stages, they'll get pushed out of their comfort zones. And there's an old saying from sport, something about your biggest challenge at training or in a game is not someone else. The biggest challenge is your burning lungs, your aching legs, and that voice in your head saying, I can't do this anymore. And you push on because it's a team and you've got to keep working for your team. And then after a while, that little voice saying can't in your head starts to say can. And you discover the person you thought you are is actually no match for the person you really are. And it's a discovery that I think many young people find through sport, team sport especially, and that's character forming. That's a moment in many people's lives where they go, you know what, I'm actually capable of a lot more than I thought. Boys who play sport also become a lot better time managers. By the time you get to Year 12, you've got to have become a better time manager. You have to be able to go, I've got rugby training Tuesdays and Thursdays, I play on Saturdays, I've got to put some study in on Sunday. I've got to make up for those hours. And when I am studying, I've got to really do it seriously. I can't sit at the table and muck around for 4 hours, I've got to sit down for an hour and a half and smash into it. Before the boys go home, one of the things I always, and all our coaches remind them, it's great, you've had a lovely day on Saturday, make sure you go home and catch up. Exams are only 3 weeks away, or you've got this or you've got that. Boys also get a sense of belonging. All teenage boys in some way are searching to find their place in the world. And I think one of the things that really helps is being part of a team, feeling like you belong. And team sports, there's all sorts of other advantages, but certainly that feeling of belonging is really good. Sport builds resilience. You turn up to rugby training on a really cold, wet night, it's horrible. But you go because the team expects you to be there. The coach is there, rugged up with his umbrella, still with water trickling down the back of his shirt, and you train for 2 hours, and you go home cold and wet and muddy, but there's a sense of achievement. You're building resilience, you're not just packing it in because it's tough. And then when it comes to the tough stuff like, I have to sit down and study my trials around the corner, the HSC's coming up, my Year 10 exams, whatever it is, some of that resilience and self-discipline you pick up from playing sport can be transferred to what you do sitting down at a desk studying. We do have a very strong sporting tradition, and we have teachers here who still love their sport. The teachers have tip football every Friday afternoon. Some of the dads turn up, some of the ex-students turn up, and a whole bunch of teachers out on the college green play footy every Friday. We also find that being a smaller school, you get to know the same parents through lots of sports. And the parental involvement is really important. The parents who are really involved are the ones that probably get the most out of it themselves, not just for their kids. The boys having parental involvement at a closer level. So they're talking to the same sorts of parents on a regular basis. You know, they might be getting a lift to basketball with somebody else's mum, and then they're dropping their son off to the rugby game in the winter. I think it provides a better community than you'd get in much bigger schools.